Okay, welcome back. President Trump leaving Hanoi without a signed deal with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. But unlike other efforts to meet with the rogue regime, these talks have not ended.
Here now to break down why other attempts at denuclearization failed is the Vice President for Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation, James Carafano. Thank you for your time again this morning. Look, there's no deal, so some critics will argue that this was not a success. Other people like yourself say no deal is a good deal. What do you make of it?
Yeah, look, so there are four possible outcomes. We could have sealed a deal. We could have at least made substantive progress. The summit could have been a nothing burger, which it was. Or the administration actually could have backtracked and gone back to the old cycle of, rope-a-dope, getting something, give something. Look, I think a nothing burger is a great outcome. Nothing burgers at least have, no carbs and no calories. So so the negotiating keeps going. I think this is a very good outcome. And the U.S. comes away with respect for North Korea. The president likes a tough negotiator. I think he respects that Kim is trying to drive a hard bargain. And I think the U.S. is pleased. And what's most important, because what keeps us safe is not the diplomacy, it's the pressure campaign. And so as long as we keep the pressure campaign, America and its allies are safe, and we can allow the negotiating track to move forward. I think it's a great outcome.
Yeah. And what about the message to the critics of the president that went into this, all speculating that this naive president that doesn't know diplomacy would go in there and sign a bad deal just to get some good news going for his administration, that he would sign something that wouldn't look good? He had this major facility on the table, and he walked away from it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting comment, because that's what the North Koreans believe. Those folks who talk to North Koreans believe that the problem was Pompeo and that warmonger Bolton, and if they could just get to the president, they could get something, because they believe that rhetoric. Matter of fact, they told the Iranians that that's what they were going to do. And so I think Kim came to Hanoi to test the proposition, and what he walked away with was no. The critics are idiots. Trump is not just a deal for the sake of a deal. Trump is looking for a serious deal. I think that's, but I also think it was smart of Kim to do that. That's what I would have done. Come to Hanoi and test to see if the president really was a serious negotiator, or if he was just somebody who wanted something for, just to say he had something.
Well, let me play devil's advocate here for a second, because a lot of people say, you can't just trust North Korea. You have to trust but verify. We heard the president say that Kim promised he wouldn't continue. He wouldn't do any more missile testings. For argument's sake, say Kim doesn't keep his word on that, and say we go right back to square one with North Korea, as we were prior to, this administration, and as we were in years prior to this. Other administrations have tried and failed with trying to get, many steps ahead with North Korea. Then what? Then what does the president do?
Well, this is, I think, the importance of the two-track strategy that the U.S. has put in place. It is the pressure campaign that prevents North Korea from being a threat to the United States and its allies. Nuclear deterrence, missile defense, conventional deterrent, heavy sanctioning. It really limits his capacity to threaten us, and it limits his capacity to really build out a substantial nuclear arsenal that could really threaten us. So that's in place. That's the safety blanket. That's the thing that protects us. And it allows the United States to pursue this negotiating track with some degree of confidence, and not from desperation like the past. Because before they were desperate because, like, oh, we got to get a deal. Otherwise, the North Koreans will get a nuclear weapon, so we do anything to make them happy. But this president's not falling for that trap.
Yeah. The unfortunate news that came from this, though, it really does look like, at least at this point, that Kim Jong-un doesn't have any intention of getting rid of his nuclear arsenal.
I don't know if that's true.
That's not what he wants. Well, I mean, if he's sitting there trying to get rid of, he didn't know what the U.S. intelligence knew, and he certainly didn't want to close down all of his nuclear options. He wanted to get rid of all the sanctions, though.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why the president's there is Kim was testing Trump. Trump is testing Kim. The president feels that Kim might be different, that this is a leader who might actually be willing to do something for his country, and the president's willing to do the negotiating to see if that really happens.
Well, time will tell.
Point. That's fair. That's a good point. Thank you, James, very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, the question now, of course, what happens next? We've had 2 summits. Is the hope of denuclearization on this peninsula dead?
We have live team coverage from Vietnam. Stay right there.